Right now, it's a big development in light of this massive tragedy. The DGCA has now issued directives to Air India to carry out additional maintenance action on the B787, the Boeing 787-8 aircraft equipped with the Gen X engines with immediate effect. So the DGCA has taken action and ordered inspection of all the Boeing 787 fleet. Remember, the Boeing aircraft is now under scanner. Air India's maintenance, its operations are under scanner after this biggest air tragedy in the history of the country. 241 people killed. Boeing 787 fleet is now under inspection as per order of the Directorate General of Civil Aviation. And now Air India and Boeing, of course, will have to answer as to what went wrong in this aircraft. Remember, the investigation has just begun. The black box will be investigated at a neutral facility, at a neutral lab. And of course, India's air watchdog is also leading the investigation. It will reveal many things. It can take time, although, but in the meanwhile, the inspection of all Boeing 787 fleet, the entire fleet will be investigated. It will be inspected. And that's what we are breaking in right now. The safety inspection will be taking place with immediate effect. That is DGCA's order. It is directive to Air India. And it's 777 and 787 fleet that Air India uses for its flights. And in the latest update, we have that the DGCA has ordered safety inspection to Air India. So remember, because Directorate General of Civil Aviation has taken cognizance. In fact, it has ordered safety inspection of the Dreamliner aircraft. It's a wide-bodied aircraft. This after the tragic Air India flight 717 crashed, killing 241 people of the 242 on board. This happened, viewers, remember, right after the takeoff, seconds after the takeoff. And it's a mystery till now as to what really went wrong. Was it an engine failure? If at all it was an engine failure or something else, why did it happen? And that is why Boeing's aircraft is under the scanner. Remember, Air India's CEO also met the Prime Minister today, and the DGCA now has ordered inspection of all Boeing 787 fleet. Now, my colleague Harsha is joining us live on the broadcast for more. Now, Harsha, DGCA has taken this first step. This is just the first step. A lot needs to be done. But yes, the safety inspection should happen with immediate effect because the Air India uses the 777 and 787 Boeing air fleet. And 787 right now is particularly in focus.
Rakshita, this is indeed not enough, and just passing an ordering order by stating that Boeing 787s, 8 and 19, all three should be inspected by Air India from now onwards. Had DGCA taken this cognizance earlier, had DGCA and MoCA ordered this to Air India earlier, when the last entire year there were so many numerous complaints about Boeing 787, the entire incident, yesterday's incident, could have been averted. The lives of 241 passengers could have been saved, but it didn't happen. After the lives are lost, DGCA and MoCA have come into action. They have swung into force, and they have now released an order stating that all parameters should be completely complied by. The inspection should happen thoroughly every day in the Boeing aircraft from immediate effect till further notice. They also went on by saying that parameters like power engines, the functioning of the engine, the green hydraulic pump, and also the other technicalities in the aircraft in Boeing 787 should be properly, thoroughly inspected, and it will go on till further notice. In fact, DGCA also in this order has mentioned that in the last 15 days, there has been multiple complaints about Boeing 787, and therefore this order is being passed and this decision has been taken for Air India. Had DGCA done it that time when the show cause notices was circulated from the side of DGCA to Air India, much could have been done. We showed yesterday the show cause notice, and Air India is still in the scrutiny. Air India can't just pass the buck by stating that it was was the devastating incident. Nothing could be done. We are investigating on it. Much more in the investigation will come out exactly what had happened inside the aircraft. Exactly, there was the engine failure because DGCA has ruled out that there were multiple lapses in the aircraft which had led to that devastating incident yesterday. So, but yes, we can say, Rakshita, this is the start of the first step which the MoCA and DGCA have taken against Air India. This is the first step, asking them to do thorough inspections every day, and the flight which are in the transit and which will go in any of the state, the Boeing aircrafts which will fly. Back to you.
Yes, Harsha. In fact, I also have my colleague Akanksha joining us from the newsroom now. Akanksha, you know, this is a directive that has happened now, and as Harsha was pointing out, that there have been multiple show cause notices in the past 2 months, at least 15 of them that have been left in the cold storage. Nothing has been done. The DGCA must answer about that as well, not just Air India. That is true. What really happened when Air India did not respond? They cannot just shun responsibility by saying, oh, the airlines did not respond. What do we do about it? And now, after 241 are killed, they say that every day there should be checks.
Absolutely, you see, many are saying, and it goes without saying, in fact, that this is too little, too late. As my colleague Harsha has been reporting, and she has got this order copy for us. Let me tell you about this. This is, in fact, an order by DGCA to Air India, and goes on to say that now enhanced safety inspection has to be done on Boeing 787 fleet of Air India. It goes on to say that, and in fact, directed Air India to carry out following additional maintenance action on 787 aircraft equipped with engines with immediate effect. Let me list out, in fact, what has been written here. So starting from June 15th, midnight onwards, any flight that is Boeing 787 that will be taking off will have to carry out these checks and balance. The first one is inspection of the fuel parameter monitoring and associated system checks. The second one is inspection of the cabin air compressor and associated systems, electronic engine control, engine fuel driven actuator, operational test and all system check. The second last one is serviceability check of the hydraulic system and review of the takeoff parameters. And all of these inspections will have to be carried out, Rakshita, starting from June 15th. Because see, we've been reporting that in the last few months, DGCA has pulled up not just any other official, but the Air India CEO time and again. Show cause notices have been given to them. Even after that, there's been no reply from them. No action has been taken by them. Now, after 241 lives have been lost, now we are seeing this action, which many are saying is too little, too late.
Absolutely. So additionally also, Harsha, there is the flight control inspection that has also been ordered by the DGCA. It should be added to the transit checks until further notice, and with power assurance tests required within the next 2 weeks. And also, very importantly, Air India has also been instructed now that it should address any repetitive technical issues identified over the past 15 days. Just in the past 24 hours, there were at least 3 snags, that have been identified, Harsha. What about them? Why was the DGCA, sleeping about it? And if they were not informed, the Air India should also take responsibility that why was it not flagged? Harsha.
Rakshita, Air India clearly thought that they will rub it under... Rakshita, Air India clearly thought that they will rub it under the carpet, but they forgot the hydraulic leaking, which today we reported about the snag in the yesterday's flight. The very same day when AI-171 crashed, there was a flight in which there was a hydraulic leak. There was a green hydraulic pressure failure in the pump, and that is the reason which we highlighted. And if you read today's order, in that order, DGCA clearly states that the hydraulic leaking also has to be checked. The green hydraulic pump has to be checked. That also has to be inspected. Never ever in the technical snag or in the technical irregularity, Air India has ever mentioned in detail about what is green hydraulic. It is important, it is essential for the normal braking. It is important for the slats. It is important to control the flight controls, internal controls. How much important is hydraulic? No one has ever spoken about it. No one has ever questioned Air India about it, that there was such an important important technical snag in the airline, and still the airline went from Chandigarh to Leh. It was turned back because this was a grave. It could have led to a dangerous incident, and the pilot thought it's better to turn back to Chandigarh because there was a problem, and such inspections are needed, Rakshita. Time and again it's needed. It's very important that the maintenance of the aircraft happens. There are spot checks, there are thorough checks, so that the passenger flying in the aircraft feels safe, which didn't happen yesterday in the case of AI-171. And now it is being said that there will be repetitive checks, thorough checks of Boeing 787, not only when it takes off from Delhi, whenever the aircraft is in transit, like yesterday's aircraft, which came from Delhi to Ahmedabad. From Ahmedabad, it had to fly to London. Any plane which will be in transit of Boeing 787, it has to go through proper checks. The parameters have to be checked, and after that only Boeing will be allowed to fly, because it was continuously being said that Boeing is under the scrutiny. The government could also take serious stringent action against the Boeing aircrafts in India, because maximum number of Boeing aircrafts are with Air India. So to avoid that also, Boeing right now wants that the inspections are better than completely undergrounding the Boeing aircraft. So we can say that this order will reveal a lot about maintenance faults in the Air India aircraft, but yes, it could also save lives of many because of the under-maintained aircrafts of Boeing 787. Back to you.
Absolutely. In fact, there have been multiple safety concerns as far as Boeing 787 Dreamliner is concerned. Harsha, very importantly, we have to understand there has been no fatal crash, and they would market it that way, that it is one of the safest and, one of the most secure, and it's immaculate and whatnot. But there have been, many times when it has suffered some really serious snags. However, it did not end in fatalities. That does not mean that one can, take it very lightly. We also have been running the story of how a whistleblower had also flagged concerns that this is not how you construct an aircraft, and that he only wanted to, just abort a catastrophe from happening. That is prevent a catastrophe. That's very important to understand, and that's why you very rightly pointed out that it could happen that the Boeing 787 could also be grounded. Thank you so much, Harsha, meanwhile, for joining us with those details coming in. We will track each and every part of the investigation, because the safety probe becomes very, very crucial for any flyer, because the lives, the security of the passengers cannot be jeopardized. Thank you so much, Akansha, for joining us from the newsroom. And this is the latest update we have. The DGCA has ordered safety inspections of Air India's Boeing 787 fleet after the fatal crash, the tragic crash that happened in Ahmedabad yesterday. The probe is underway, viewers. In fact, we'll just get you on 6 Stories at 6. We'll tell you more updates on that. We'll move on, and we can come to me. Republic investigation, viewers. The Republic investigation into the safety concerns at Air India also continues. It has led to, we learned about 2 separate incidents that have taken place yesterday itself, the same day of the unfortunate crash of Air India 171. From a hydraulic leak that forced the Chandigarh to Leh flight to return back to Chandigarh after the takeoff, to a shocking instance of outer panes of both windshields cracking on a Delhi to Hyderabad flight, and the plane continuing to go to its destination. Here is what my colleague Harsha has found out in her report on the Air India story and the continuous snags.
While the focus of entire world was on AI-171 crash, Republic investigation unearthed some serious safety concerns raised by DGCA in its 15 show-cause notices issued to Tata-owned Air India in the span of 2 months. The sources have revealed to Republic today about other concerning instances of flight safety, where it has been mentioned about the instances on June 12th, that's yesterday. However, on the same very day of the airplane crash, there was no mentioning about these instances in the media or even by Air India. On June 12th, Air India's AI-3416 flying from Chandigarh to Leh made an unexpected turn back. The flight, which took off from Chandigarh, according to the information accessed by Republic, the pilot reported of the low pressure in the green hydraulic pump. The hydraulic power is essential for systems like primary flight controls, landing gear, some spoilers, normal braking and slats. Fortunately, we got to know that the flight made a safe landing back in Chandigarh, but when the inspections of the aircraft A320 took place, it was found that there was a leak in the hydraulic line in the nose gear area. In a separate incident on the same very day as the AI-171 crash, another Air India flight AI-2465 flying from Delhi to Hyderabad experienced cracked windshield. As per report is accessed by Republic TV, what is concerning is that the pilot reported not one but both the windshield of the aircraft cracked. The assessment of the time suggested that it was the AC rack on the outer plane and would not lead to any pressurization issue, and hence the flight continued to its destination of Hyderabad. In the past, like in 2015, we have seen Air India flights return back after cracks were observed on the windshield. However, in this case, it seems like the situation of the outer panes of both windshields being cracked was not deemed serious enough to call for a diversion. These instances being underreported and also allegedly not being directly addressed by Air India raises a lot of concerns on an overall feeling of the flight safety on an airline that once proudly used to call itself India's national carrier.
A smiling family, a final selfie, and a journey that ended in tragedy. 5 members of the Joshi family, including 3 young children, lost their lives in aviation history's worst ever plane crash. What remains now is just one haunting photograph, a void that can never be filled. Here's the story of the Joshi family.
This is the last selfie of the Joshi family. Pratik Joshi, his wife Komi Vyas, and their 3 children, a daughter and twin sons. Smiling just moments before takeoff, a picture full of love, laughter and life, now frozen in time. They were on board the ill-fated Air India flight that crashed, leaving just one survivor. Pratik Joshi, a doctor practicing in London, had come home to visit with his family. They were returning from Ahmedabad when tragedy struck mid-air. Within 30 seconds from takeoff, all 5, Pratik, Komi, their daughter and twin boys, lost their lives in the deadly crash. As the heartbreaking news reached Banaswara, a wave of grief swept across their locality. The family's home is now silent, shrouded in mourning.
दीदी थी कोमी व्यास जी, तो उनकी एक लड़की थी 8 से 10 साल की मीराया जी, और 2 लड़के थे लव कुश जी।
तो ये आपको
उनको लगभग 2:30 बजे मिल गई थी।
तो ये कल ही लंदन के लिए
हाँ नहीं, कल यहाँ से अहमदाबाद के लिए रवाना हुआ मॉर्निंग जी।
तो और परिवार के कोई यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं उनके अभी आपके अलावा?
हाँ, सब वहीं पे हैं।
District Collector Dr. Indrajit Singh Yadav, SP, Harshvardhan Agrawala, and other senior officials rushed to offer condolences.
परिवार के 5 लोगों का नाम कंफर्म हुआ है। दुख की इस घड़ी में परिवार के साथ जिला प्रशासन खड़ा है और हर प्रकार की मदद के लिए हम इनके साथ।
The image of this young family smiling together for one last time now remains as a haunting memory of lives lost far too soon, dreams left mid-flight, and a family that never made it back home.
Let's now tell you the story of Anju Sharma. She was on her way to meet her daughter a joyous homecoming turned into a family's worst nightmare. Anju Sharma from Haryana's Kurukshetra was among those who lost their lives in the Ahmedabad plane crash. And this is the story of a daughter who never returned home, a mother who could not see her daughter who was in the United Kingdom. Take a look.
Inconsolable scenes, a family shattered beyond words. Anju Sharma's aged parents, her relatives all gathered, but without her. Their cries echo through Ramsharan Majra village in Kurukshetra. A daughter, a mother, a sister lost to the Ahmedabad plane tragedy. Anju, who had been living with her family in Vadodara, was on her way to London to meet her elder daughter Nimmi. A trip filled with excitement ended in utter devastation.
मेरी माँ चली गई, मेरी माँ चली गई, मम्मी के डैडी तो दोनों बैठते बैठे जो भी था उससे दीदी से सब कुछ वो चले गए। वो दोनों उनको नहीं बता सकते बिल्कुल भी कुछ भी, वो चले जाएंगे, एक माँ चली गई, दोनों ये भी चले जाएंगे।
Her elderly father, a retired army man, bedridden after a brain hemorrhage. Her mother, too unwell to be told the truth.
मेरे फादर-इन-लॉ ब्रेन हेमरेज हुआ है, उठ ही नहीं सकते बिस्तर से। मदर हार्ट के पेशेंट हैं मेरे इलाज मेरे, तो उनको तो अभी बताया भी नहीं है, ना बताने की पोजीशन है कि कैसे बताएं कि वो उनको ये सदमा बर्दाश्त नहीं कर पाएंगे।
परिवार तो सारा तहस नहस हो गया जी, क्योंकि मेन की घर की परिवार की करता वो थी, तो परिवार हंसता खेलता सारा परिवार था जी। जो भी काम करते हैं यहाँ के परिवार के, वहाँ के परिवार के, सारे इसकी जिम्मेवारी पे ये आते हैं।
The family is struggling to balance grief and protect the parents from more trauma. Her younger daughter provided a DNA sample in Vadodara confirming the worst. The loss is unbearable. The silence in their home is deafening. A final WhatsApp call missed by her sister Neelu, a regret she now carries forever. Anju's final status message was "Aadmi ek khilona hai," a line that now feels heartbreakingly prophetic. She was the eldest of 8 sisters, the one who held the family together. Now, she's the one who's gone too soon. Her relatives and villagers stand shoulder to shoulder as her family prepares to leave for Vadodara to bring her mortal remains back for one final farewell.
Now, viewers, we have to understand that what really happened, and for that the black box of an aircraft is the most crucial. Now what we understand is that the black box has been located. Now it will be tested, it will be investigated at a neutral facility. Now how does it hold key? We'll help you understand that. It will help investigators reconstruct the final moments of the flight. Mostly it has data of at least the 24 hours, the last 24 hours, and it acts as a vital tool in determining the cause of the airplane crash. It has the recordings as I suggested, and it is not black, contrary to its name. It is orange, it's bright orange, and so that it can be easily spotted, and designed to survive extreme impact, fire and underwater pressure. So we understand that there was an explosion and the entire aircraft was charred, but given that it's a black box, it is designed so that it has minimum damage. Now it's made up of 2 components: flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder. So the data of the flight, the pressure, everything is recorded, and so is the recording, everything that is happening inside the cockpit. FDR records flight parameters like altitude, speed, engine data. That is what I was talking about, one of the components that has been recording all these important conversations as well. So the other component is CVR, that captures pilot conversations and the cockpit sounds as well. The forensic expert will be examining this footage and recordings at a specialized lab, and that will be mostly abroad. And its combined analysis will aid in pinpointing the exact cause of the crash, what really happened. All the data will be out, and henceforth the black box becomes very important. Having said that, it could take days, it could even take weeks or months when it comes to this data to be decoded. So that will be but very, very crucial as far as the investigation is concerned. Viewers, that's all from our side on 6 Stories at 6. But our coverage continues on the biggest aviation tragedy in the history of the country. Stay tuned to Republic.